You've been awake for 5 days. Not sleeping badly, not taking short naps, not resting. Awake. Completely awake. For 5 straight days. Your eyes burn. Your thoughts feel slow. You keep forgetting what you were about to say. The corners of the room start looking strange. You swear you see movement that isn't there.
Now imagine 10 days.
15. 20. 30.
What would happen?
Would your body fail first? Would your mind break? Or would something else wake up? Something that has been buried beneath your thoughts your entire life. Waiting. Silent. Patient. According to one of the internet's most infamous horror stories, that's exactly what happened. 5 men entered a sealed room. Only one made it out. And with his final breath, he left behind a warning. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. Tonight, we are going to talk about the Russian sleep experiment. Welcome to the podcast You Can't Unhear. The story first appeared online in the late 2000s. At the time, the internet felt different. Forums were everywhere. People traded ghost stories, urban legends, conspiracy theories, creepypastas. And among all those stories, one stood above the rest. Because unlike haunted dolls or cursed websites, this one felt possible. This experiment supposedly took place during World War II, in the late 1940s, when the Soviet Union was believed to have secret facilities conducting various scientific experiments. During those war years, governments were desperately trying to find ways to optimize their soldiers. And this particular experiment was designed to find a drug or gas that could help soldiers work without needing sleep for days on end. It started with a question nobody had ever answered. What happens if a human being never sleeps? According to the story, 5 political prisoners were chosen for an experiment. Enemies of the state. Men who had little chance of freedom. Researchers made them a promise. Stay awake for 30 days. Survive. And you'll be released. The room was simple. Books. Food. Running water. Beds. A toilet. Microphones. And one unusual detail. A stimulant gas constantly pumped into the chamber, designed to prevent sleep. For the first few days, everything seemed normal. The men talked, shared stories, laughed, read books. Then, day 5 arrived, and the mood changed. The conversations became darker, more personal, more disturbing. The men began discussing things they had never told anyone. Traumas, secrets, fears. By day 9, paranoia had completely taken hold. The prisoners stopped trusting each other, stopped trusting themselves. One man suddenly began screaming, running through the room, screaming for hours, until his voice became nothing more than a rasp. Then suddenly, silence. And honestly, this is the part of the story that always unsettled me the most. Not the violence. Not the ending. The silence. Imagine monitoring a room 24 hours a day, listening constantly. Then one morning, nothing. No talking, no movement. No sounds at all. Hours pass. Still nothing. Then days pass. Still nothing. The researchers check oxygen consumption. The subjects are alive. In fact, they appear unusually active. But nobody is speaking. Nobody is approaching the microphones. Nothing. For 3 days, the room remains silent. Finally, the researchers decide to open the chamber. Through the intercom, they announce, "We are opening the door. Step away from the entrance. Cooperate, and one of you will be freed." For a long moment, there's no response. Then a voice answers, calmly, almost casually. "We no longer wish to be freed." And suddenly, the experiment doesn't feel like an experiment anymore. It feels like something else. The researchers were shocked. After long debates, they decided to open the door on the 15th day at midnight, accompanied by Russian soldiers as a precaution. When the doors finally opened, the researchers supposedly found something impossible. Food untouched. Blood everywhere. The room destroyed. And the prisoners changed. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive. The details become increasingly grotesque from here. The kind of horror designed to make readers question whether they should keep going. Most of their muscles and skin were torn, revealing bones. Their lungs were visible beneath their ribs. The wounds on their bodies were self-inflicted. Blood vessels and organs were protruding from their bodies and scattered on the floor, though their hearts and lungs remained intact. The food provided for 30 days was completely untouched after day 5, as the subjects had been eating their own flesh that they had torn from their bodies, causing them such gruesome look in the end. When the soldiers tried to remove the subjects, they became violently aggressive. One bit a soldier's throat, killing him instantly. Others attacked soldiers' legs and genitals. 8 soldiers lost their lives to these suddenly aggressive subjects. During the struggle, one subject's spleen ruptured. The researchers had to use tranquilizers, injecting morphine at doses 10 times higher than normal. Even under morphine, the subjects resisted strongly, shouting, "More, keep going, keep giving it." But the most disturbing detail isn't the condition of the room, or the condition of the prisoners. It's what they kept asking for. The gas. Every time fresh air entered the chamber, they begged for the gas to return. Not freedom. Not food. Not medical attention. The gas. As though staying awake had become more important than survival itself. 3 subjects survived to be transferred to a medical facility. Throughout the journey, they begged for the gas to be returned while fighting the urge to sleep. The worst case was taken to surgery. Even restrained with thick leather straps and held down by a 90-kilogram soldier, he managed to break free and tear the straps. After multiple tranquilizer doses, he finally lost consciousness and his heart stopped. His blood had oxygen levels 3 times higher than normal, and 9 of his bones were broken from his own struggling. The next subject had his vocal cords completely destroyed from screaming. When offered anesthesia for surgery, he shook his head vigorously in disagreement. The 6-hour surgery was performed without anesthesia, and he showed no reaction to pain. When given paper and pencil, he wrote, "Keep cutting." The last subject laughed incessantly during surgery. When a researcher asked why they had injured themselves and why they wanted the gas back,
The subject simply replied, "We must stay awake." The researchers considered the project a complete failure. But a Russian army commander saw potential and ordered the 2 remaining subjects back into the experiment room with the stimulant gas. Both subjects were then tied to beds with EEG devices monitoring their brainwaves. And for the first time, they didn't resist because they knew they'd get their gas back. Their brainwaves showed normal patterns, but I would sometimes flatten without explanation and sometimes went completely dead before returning. When one subject fell asleep, the other began screaming. The commander ordered the room locked with the subjects and researchers inside. But one researcher pulled out a pistol, shot the commander, then shot one of the subjects. Only one subject remained. The researcher shouted that he didn't want to be locked in with this creature and demanded to know what the subject really was. The subject calmly smiled and said, "Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence when you sleep." The researcher aimed his pistol at the subject's heart and fired. With his last breath, the subject whispered, "So nearly free." And that's when the story delivers those lines people still quote today. The lines that transformed a creepy internet post into a modern horror legend. Now here's the interesting part. None of this happened. At least, there's no evidence it ever happened. No Soviet records. No government documents. No missing experiment. No witnesses. The Russian sleep experiment was created as a creepypasta, an internet horror story designed specifically to spread online. And it worked. Better than almost anyone expected. Millions of people read it, shared it, argued about it, and for years, some genuinely believed it might be real. The Russian sleep experiment takes that trust and turns it into horror. Not by asking, "What if something kills you while you sleep?" but by asking, "What if sleep is the only thing protecting you? What if the dreams, the unconsciousness, the darkness, are actually keeping something locked away? If sleep is what makes us human, what would be left after 30 days without it?" And honestly, I'm not sure I'd want to know. Have a good night, guys. And whatever you do, don't stay awake for too long. I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.